Hello everyone and welcome back to the Billboard series here on my channel where I rank the 20 highest charting songs from each year leading up to 2024. I started on 2000, this is the 23rd episode, which means that 2022 is today's year that I will be talking about. However, there is a slight little thing going on with the year 2022 when it came to the Billboard charts. Not one, not two, but three of the songs in the top 20 from this year had actually already appeared on the top 20 of 2021. So I've kind of decided to exclude them, and one of them is, of course, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, Heat Waves by Glass Animals, which was the #1 song of 2022, actually. So that one's gone. So in this little parallel universe of my ranking the videos, I guess As It Was by Harry Styles is now the new #1 of 2022. Stay as well by Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber was #3 on the year-end charts in 2022 and also appeared in last video. And also Bad Habits by Ed Sheeran appeared on both the top 20. So that one has been excluded as well, which means that I got 3 new songs that aren't actually on the top 20 appearing in this video. And how fitting is it that my all-time favorite Kate Bush track of all categories, Running Up That Hill, has managed to find itself just sitting at number 23 on the year-end charts of Billboard 2022. Of course, this is a song that got a new life in 2023 or 2022, sorry, due to the Stranger Things series that was happening. I think it had the finale or something like that. I haven't watched the series. I don't know why this song became so big again, but it was due to that series, and I couldn't be happier because this is, in fact, and has always been my favorite Kate Bush track. This is just world building if I've ever heard it. A song like this getting brand new life in this modern era is fantastic because this is really just the most atmospherically compelling song that I can think of, really. Instrumentation just provides or presents really this really otherworldly atmosphere from the opening pads and this busy percussion that starts off the song. And then you got the chord interval that feels so perfectly poignant in tension. It's suspenseful, it's palpable, and just has this tense transition of colored chords really mainly as well that just sets the tone so perfectly for the song. Then thereafter, you got Kate Bush coming in with her insane real vocal presence in the song as well. That's just focused on large intervals and staying off center in terms of the rhythm as well. It's all about her in command of this song that I think already has established such a command on my ears and my attention. And then she comes in there and just knocks it out of the park. She does her own thing, and I listen to every single word, every single note. Choruses that come in, they're just vocally explosive, hit incredibly hard every time, and fit just perfectly with this ambience of the track as well that it really has built up. There are like dissonances in the main melody that work on top of the chords that I think just put so much emotional beauty into the chords as well in this delivery. And like the setting of it all is outstanding, and the harmonic composition is just equally impressive. It's one of the greatest songs ever written, in my opinion, and that might be excessive, but I really can't find a flaw with it. I think it's one of the most compelling and captivating listening experiences I can ever imagine, and the fact that I get to talk about it in a year where I talk about modern pop music is quite refreshing. This is the easiest S tier I've ever placed on any of these videos. Impeccable. That's the adjective I'm going with for Running Up That Hill. And now, from one side of the coin, I suppose we're heading to the other, because next up is Bad Bunny. This is Tití Me Preguntó, which might be great for someone who really just enjoys rapping. The only real melodic variation that this song has provided to it is in a very slow vocal section that's just processed beyond words. Of course, the song is in Spanish, so I do not understand what it's about, but I don't really mind. Maybe that actually helps the song, I'm not sure. Gives it a little bit of like an exotic flavor to me, I suppose. But it doesn't really utilize it. I think the ceaseless beat is very tiring. It's an energetic one for sure, but there are no real switch-ups or contrasts to it. Just kind of goes on. It's a mind-numbingly approach, really. It gets tiring for me immediately, I would say. And all of it ultimately just results in a very repetitive hook that goes preguntó, to, and it's just so irritating that I never want to hear it again. I'm sorry, Bad Bunny. Like, there is a song from this very album as well by Bad Bunny that I really love called Ojitos. I want to say Ojitos Bonitos, but that's probably not what it's called. But it's something like that, which I think is beautifully melodically beautiful. But this one, just no, not for me. Sorry. Next up is a Woman. Let Me Be Your Woman. Woman, Woman, Woman by Doja Cat, which is I don't know, like the way the word woman sounds in this song is so annoying to me. Like it's such a clear case of the word just being pasted into it, and seemingly as an artistic choice because it should stand out, but no one really took into consideration the fact that it sounds woeful, and yeah, then the approach maybe should be ignored. I understand that maybe it's just to my ears that it sounds woeful because of course it charted at number 21 on the year-end charts, but I truly find it to sound terrible. The overarching kind of vibe of the track is somewhat engaging, I think. Maybe like the beat is a bit energetic, but there's really no sense of progression in this song, no flavor in it. It all just kind of stamps along in the same place with a ceaseless beat, and everything about it is just predictable. It's tiresome for me. It's an F, 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 F. I might actually want to put it below because I find it to be so repetitive. Yeah, that's it. Okay, more Bad Bunny coming up next. It's kind of we started with Kate Bush, and now yeah, I don't know where we're going with this. Me Porto Bonito by Bad Bunny and Chencho Corleone, which has a percussive flow that I think is very effective. It also has a little bit more of a dynamic because we got two vocal inputs here. I think the song actually also has like kind of an ambient vibe in the subtle synth work here, which is quite nice. And that really results in, I guess, all of the song really puts all of the focus on Bunny and Corleone here. The vocal performance from Chencho Corleone here is very shrill, like overly so, that I don't think is very pleasant to listen to. And then Mr. Bunny here is just excessively compressed again and processed to an impressive degree, really, where it doesn't really sound enjoyable anymore. There is a switch up after 1.5 minutes in the song that is quite off-putting and not particularly pleasant to the ears, at least not mine. The rhythmic vibe of the song is the one thing that I kind of enjoy about it, so I'm placing it in the E tier because of that, but it's not a listen I will return to either, unfortunately. Not the most positive review from me to either Bad Bunny track in today's list, and that was the last one that I probably will talk about. Maybe he appears tomorrow again, I'm not sure, but these were not for me. Next up is Wasted on You by Morgan Wallen, and this is an effectively sung country ballad. There's more country coming up now in the modern years, I suppose, and of course I had never heard this song before because country music doesn't really reach the charts here most often, but kind of nice listen, I suppose. I'm not a fan of this kind of combination of where you have to throw on a hip hop beat to a country, like a pop country song. I feel like that's a bit just kind of pandering towards a way of getting accessible and hitting the mainstream these days. It's a trendy combination, but not one that I particularly enjoy. I think this song could have been more emotionally gripping if it really focused more on like an authentic instrumentation to back up some really solid guitar work that I think the song has. Could have definitely been enhanced by more authentic instrumentation behind that, rather than just this beat that just provides kind of an accessible pulse to the song. Still, enjoyable enough for what it is, I'd say. I'm placing this one in the D tier. I think it has standout aspects. It's a pretty little country ballad, but ultimately the execution is what holds it back for me. Next up will be Need to Know by Doja Cat again, and maybe this song is vibey, I don't know. Didn't manage to keep my attention at all, I'll be honest. Doja Cat without these energetic instrumental backdrops apparently just isn't really for me. I find these songs to kind of, like, it's the same thing with Woman. I find these songs to just kind of exist, and then when they're done, I haven't really found the need or the desire to return to them. This song is quite repetitive. It's rather lifeless to me. Didn't spark an interest to me to ever give it another listen. I'm placing it in the E tier because maybe I'm a bit generous. Like I get that there's like a vibey approach to this one, and this one isn't as annoying as Woman, so I'm placing it there. And now I'll move on to ABCDEFU by Gayle, which is a predictable composition beyond words. The same chords on repeat in the same rhythm non-stop throughout the entire song. The only exciting part about it really is the hook with the whole cheeky A, B, C, D, E, F, U. It's catchy. I'll admit that it's catchy. But it's also a hook that I, for one, heavily dislike. Like it's too overbearing. It's too like it feels like it wants to think that it's so clever, and I just think that it's not. Sure, I can understand like some people will absolutely sing along to it, but I just don't really get any enjoyment out of it personally. I find it to be very obnoxious. Just shout at me some more, Gayle, please, because that's what I feel like she's doing throughout this song for sure. It's a very kind of aggressive song, and I feel like I'm getting shouted at, and I don't particularly enjoy that. I'm placing this one in the F tier as well. It's down there. Also don't really understand this artwork. Like I get the middle finger is broken, but okay, maybe. I don't know. Next up, I've been talking so much negativity now for a while, and now is Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow with Industry Baby, and this song is kind of cool. I think the countering kind of rhythms that the song has is a really cool aspect to it. The horns in the beat I think are quite fun. I like the bounce of the song, and it has kind of an intriguing descent in the melody during the choruses that's quite neat as well. Has clever ideas in there. Vocally, I find it to be produced in a way that makes it sound quite lethargic, like from the vocal standpoint here. I don't think Lil Nas X is particularly shining in this track from that side of things. The verses, I don't think they break much ground within the hip-hop or rap scene either, but maybe they do. I just don't understand it, but it doesn't really stand out to me in that regard. But the song as a whole, I think stands out. It's a fun little listen, some nice detailing, some nice writing in there as well. I'm placing this one in the C tier. It's a solid tune. Not my favorite song from the Industry Baby album. I obviously talked about Montero yesterday, and I'll talk about another one very shortly. But before I do that, I'll get right through this. Enemy by Imagine Dragons and JID. Do you remember when I said that I enjoyed Imagine Dragons, like the music that Imagine Dragons put out? Feels quite distant now, I have to say. Like this is pointless, really. It tries to be very epic, it tries to be cool, it tries to be punchy. Like, listen to how dominant and forceful this is, and when you listen to it you realize no, it's not any of that. I mean, this feels plastic, it feels formulaic, it feels completely like soulless, and a lack of passion being put into this. It feels like, oh, you got this assignment and this is the due date, now just get to work and put out whatever you can. It's a pandering song with a like a forced attitude and drive, really. It does not feel earned whatsoever. The instrumental I find to be boring beyond words. There's no authentic instrumentation in this track, really. Everything feels just, as I said, kind of plastic, formulaic. It sounds like stock sounds for the most part. Hasn't really been emphasized or enhanced by any kind of character. Most of the time in the studio that they put on this one, I think they've just kind of spent on searching for sound effects that they want to layer their drums with. Really disappointing listen. I mean, I loved Radioactive 10 years prior to this, and I liked a lot of the songs from that album. I don't know why we're here now. This is honestly bottom of F tier. It's so bad, in my opinion. Sorry, like if you like it, all the more power to you. But this is everything that I kind of dislike about what Imagine Dragons can also be, I suppose. Now, more positive vibes. That's what I want by Lil Nas X. Yeah, this could be my favorite song from the album. I gotta be honest. High in energy. It feels very pop punk inspired, which I'm very fond of. It doesn't have that kind of instrumentation, but that's kind of refreshing as well at the same time. Very cool to just see that Lil Nas X kind of did whatever he wanted to do, and that comes across so naturally in this song. I like the fact that there's a little bit of natural guitar in here. The strumming is very characteristic to provide rhythm in the song. The choruses are sing-along friendly, they're energetic, they're highly enjoyable. Vocally, I think he shines as well. He really takes out the best of his own capacity in this song to really create this memorable chorus. The backing harmonies during these choruses as well, they're very wide and provide the best backdrop possible for the main lead vocal to really just kind of shine on top with like a soaring brightness. It feels very elevated and satisfactory to listen to mainly. Also some rhythmic syncopation here and there that's very effective. I think it's a really fun listen. I'm placing this one in the A tier easily. I think it belongs up there without a doubt. Next up is About Damn Time by Lizzo, and I just don't really think that Lizzo is my kind of artist at this point. I haven't been exposed to a lot of her music, but every time I hear one, I'm just like, yeah, this just isn't for me, and I can't help that. Even if it maybe, like, I think the song has a funky beat, it's a punchy production really to it as well. Some memorable bass walks in here for sure, and some strong percussive syncopation that I think was quite fun to just listen to. But as an overall package, I feel myself just more and more thinking that I just simply don't enjoy it. It's not my kind of music, and I can't be objective in that area then, I suppose. I don't know. I think the verses are focused on rhythmic melody so much that doesn't really provide any melodic interest at all to this song. I feel like it's all about just a vibe and a setting with no real kind of substance to it. Melodically, this song is very like, what do you say? Very, not minimalistic, but melodically, it's not really had a focus in that area, so that I feel like there's just a massive deficiency of any kind of approach there. Towards the end, I also kind of just realized how repetitive I find this song to be. Even though I found the beat quite fun early on, it started off that way, but ultimately towards the end of it, I feel like that has become quite tiring as well. I see some positive things going on in here, but I just don't enjoy it. I'm placing it in the D tier because I'm feeling like maybe I should. But ultimately, I don't really think that this is much of a great song, really. But what do I know? Next up, we got Wait For You by Future, Drake, and Tems. And again, I'm not really the audience for this either. I realize that I'm getting more and more out of sync with the mainstream music. I thought it was bad in like the 2010s, early 2010s, but this is getting rough now. Yeah, I'm just not the audience for this kind of music. The beat of the track is quite smooth and pleasant, I'll give it that. And also like the vocal hook in the song is quite distinct. I think that and satisfactory as well. It's a neat little hook. Overall though, the song is just not that enjoyable. I think the rapping, like this mumbling rap that it has going for it is quite lackluster and tedious. I also don't really enjoy the fact that you have to put these rap sections over the hook. That's trying to kind of save the song for me, but mostly what I hear is just some tired, lazy wording thrown in here and there, and it doesn't really elevate the song. I feel like it's quite a tiring listen. I'm placing it in the E tier. I think, honestly, I'd probably put it at the top of E tier next to those other two, because there is a neat hook somewhere in there. It's just been covered up by a lot of other things. Next up, the Elton John medley that we got released in 2022 with the Dua Lipa and the Pnau remix for Cold Heart. And I guess it's kind of nice that we got a way to enjoy Elton John and dance at the same time, because we haven't really got that from before, I suppose. I think that's like the only purpose and reason why this song exists. Personally, I just rather listen to all of these songs by Elton John in their original version, because those are the ones that speak to me, and I'm that kind of audience. But all the more power to them for making this version so that it's accessible to the people who want to dance to Elton John music as well, I suppose. However, the execution of this, I mean, the beat by Pnau here might as well just have been a stock drum loop from Logic, in my opinion. It adds nothing to the track. You could have just as well thrown these songs together and just put any kind of drum loop on it, and it would have been just as dance friendly as this is. I feel like the sole purpose of the track is just to give these well-composed songs a new life and be able to dance to them. I'm placing this in the D tier just because of the source material is kind of good, so place it right in there. Next up, Super Gremlin by Kodak Black. I have very few comments on this, I gotta be honest. What did you expect? A song called Super Gremlin by an artist called Kodak Black. No, it's more rapping about. I mean, this song kind of comes across to me as just glorifying criminal behavior. Maybe it's not supposed to be that, but it sounds so aggressive and just kind of shouting about it all the time and being very in your face about shooting people and whatnot. It's a complete turn off. However, I feel like I understand that this seems to be kind of like a reflection on a very tough backdrop or a tough background in life. And I respect that, but it's presented in a way that just doesn't reach my sympathy at all. I feel like I need some kind of more authentic emotion in it for it to connect with me as a listener personally. The rapping sounds subpar to my ears, I gotta be honest. It's not one of the rapping performances that will stick with me. The beat did not leave an impact on me either. The pitched vocal hook is kind of catchy, I suppose, but it's hardly enjoyable, at least not in my ears. I'm placing this one in the F tier as well. We're getting stacked down here. This could be my least favorite year that I've talked about so far. I'm just looking at this list and it's dreadful. However, Justin Bieber comes around to save the day. Did you ever expect me to say that? No, but Ghost here by Justin Bieber is a really nice pop song. I think that most of the time when you hear drum and bass music in the pop scene, it can be a bit underwhelming. It's not really produced in a way that I feel like it's convincing. And this song has a very laid back beat to it. However, there's just something about the overall atmosphere of this song that I think is very palpable. And largely that comes down to the fact that I think that Justin Bieber is actually vocally superb in this song. He carries the song from start to finish with just this vibrant backdrop to support him, but it's all about the emotional delivery that he has and how he voices his notes. I think that he carries the song. The bridges of the track elevate the song beautifully and leads into these hard-hitting choruses. It's quite simple overall, like as a composition, but it's just wonderful in terms of its actual impact, I'd say. Perfect pop song in my book that just clicks. It feels very scaled back in a way while also having this maintained and subdued energy in the background from the beat, from the drum and bass percussion really. And then the vocal is really what sells it. I'm placing this one in the A tier easily as well. No doubt about it. And I guess I'll use the same expression again, from one side of the coin, we move to Latto's Big Energy. And there's obviously an audience for this. I'm not doubting that. I'm not a part of the audience. I will never be a part of the audience. Anyone can have fun listening to Latto talk about herself with an ego the size of a group of tigers in a gazelle cage, because that's really what it's all about. Latto is the greatest person on the planet, and whoever the song is about or is talking to has the big organ energy. I'll leave it to someone else to just get invested in this song. I'll happily forget that it exists. It's another F. I'll place it at the bottom, honestly. This I will never return to. Never, ever, 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 ever. All right, Jack Harlow, First Class, with a very, very catchy vocal sample that's used in the hook here. This is irresistible catchiness to me. It's not a very deep song. It's not the most well-executed song. It's not the most substantial or profound piece of music that I've ever heard. However, is it on loop in my speakers? Perhaps, honestly. It's just the overall vibe of the track, I suppose. The piano input in the beat is a peppy little detail to put some kind of character in there. The soundscape is really like built upon very energetic percussion that I think sets the tone nicely. The foundation really becomes quite striking there. And then these soft piano notes and the pulsating pads detailed with some kind of subtle sound effects here and there. It feels so complete to me in a way. And then you got this chorus with a very, very nice groove to my ears. And I just love the subtle horns to enhance this kind of rhythmic response to the hook. And then you have the First Class sample that I adore it. I really do. Like, this is probably the most fun listen of all of the songs this year. Yeah, it is. Running Up That Hill is not a fun listen. It's just a incredible listen. First Class is the fun song here. I'm placing it in the A tier. I don't even care. It's too much fun for me to listen to. Well done, Jack Harlow. You got something. You made something that I actually did enjoy. I never really thought that would happen, but here we are. And next up, Shivers by Ed Sheeran, and this clearly is a follow-up to Bad Habits with the exact same approach. However, Bad Habits kind of worked. So I mean, even though it's a predictable pop tune, it has a fun approach in its sound design and the production. I think the very present guitar strumming in the song is quite a nice detail. There's a rich instrumentation during the choruses as well, where the horns join in, which becomes quite fulfilling, really, and enjoyable in that aspect. Engaging beat, melodically, very smooth flow to it. I think Ed Sheeran sounds great vocally again, quite just carries the tune quite effortlessly. Upbeat, fun listen, even though it's very predictable. I'm placing it in the B tier. I think it's just a strong pop song with not a lot else to say about it, really. Which means I got 2 songs left. This is, of course, you could think it's number 2 and 1, but this is number 4 and number 2 from the year-end charts. And Adele's Easy on Me is the first one to talk about here. There's really no like fancy detailing found anywhere here in terms of like the digital side of things. This recording is just so perfect that it manages to capture all of the authentic emotion right from there. You don't need much else, really. It's all about soul and passion being put into this track. It feels very honest, feels sincere, it's competent beyond words. Adele sells it with her vocal incredibly well. There is a beautiful evolution in the verses here, where both the piano and her vocal really provides a lot of tension leading into these kind of heavily restrained but also emotionally loaded choruses. And like the choruses really, like, they add this kind of sparse depth with the bass as well, which is quite nice. It feels very purposeful. It's a free-flowing song mainly. It feels like it's just written from the heart and kind of built around that. It doesn't feel like it needs to follow any framework or any rules. It just goes out, does what it wants to do. It's all about Adele here. Very natural, completely pure performance, which, you know, just sells. I don't really listen to this song as often or often at all, I gotta be honest. But each listen that I give it is quite special because it just hits so hard from this authenticity that I think this song has. I would feel very wrong not putting this in the A tier. And yeah, of course, I have to put it above First Class. You can't really compare it. It's difficult to grade songs within the same category, but this one is probably like the most hard-hitting song and the most authentic and the most, like, the greatest from that side of things. But the others have, of course, qualities in their own right. And another song that has a lot of quality, Harry Styles with As It Was. This is the Harry Styles single that I think is probably his greatest work so far. I'd say Sign of the Times is fantastic in a different way. As It Was is energetic, it's uplifting, it's incredibly charming. I feel so much warmth coming from this track. It feels very purposeful. I think that it's quite clear that Harry Styles really had a vision with this song. You can consider the resemblance to 80s music a bit much, I understand that, but I still think that this has a very clear identity and purpose in terms of its modern sound as well. The drums in the track sound great. I love the presence from them. They're very fast paced, which really bumps up the energy and the mood of the song even more. It's a gorgeous melody really as well that goes along with the chords very naturally. I think the vocal performance from Harry Styles here is some of his absolute greatest work. He sounds fantastic in this song and really carries it forward, kind of similarly to what I think Justin Bieber does in Ghost. This one, however, more energetic, more fun to listen to probably, and just a great pop song. I'm placing this one right next to Adele up there. I think it's brilliant. So, a good little ending to the video, really, ultimately. I mean, the A category did get a few songs towards the very end. However, I guess the main standout part of the video is the fact that there are so many songs in the F tier. Every single one of those I really can't stand, and the 3 songs in the E tier are there because I did not like them either. And the 3 songs in the D tier are kind of just like, And then there are a few songs that really did work for me this year. And mainly, I mean, we had to go back to the 80s to find the song that really hit the jackpot in in this year's tier list. But yeah, fun one to really revisit as well. A lot of songs that I just didn't enjoy, but there were a few standouts, of course, and I very much enjoyed talking about those again. So yeah, let me know what you think of the songs from this year. Do you find it to be equally as a poor year, I suppose, in terms of music as I did, or are these your vibes? Are these the bangers that you enjoy the most? Let me know in the comments. I'd be looking forward to reading about that. And of course, tomorrow in Sweden, it's Christmas. So Merry Christmas, Merry early Christmas to everyone from Sweden. And yeah, only 2 episodes left to go. So please join me for those as well. Have a great one until then. Take care of yourselves, and bye bye.